Your soulmate just made a decision that could change both of your lives forever. My beloved child, before another ordinary thought has the chance to pass through your mind, notice how quietly this moment found you. Nothing rushed to reach you. Nothing demanded your attention. Yet here you are, and there is a reason this message arrived with such gentle timing. Somewhere beyond what your eyes can currently see, a decision has already begun taking shape. It was not made in a single heartbeat. It was formed through countless silent reflections, moments of hesitation, memories that refused to disappear, and a growing realization that could no longer be ignored. Stay till the end, because something important is waiting for you, and it reveals itself one gentle step at a time. Your soulmate has reached a place where pretending no longer feels comfortable. They have quietly stood at the edge of an inner crossroads, asking themselves questions they once avoided. What truly matters? What deserves another chance? What kind of future feels honest instead of familiar? These are not questions answered with loud words. They are answered in stillness. And sometimes, the quietest answers become the ones that reshape everything. Long before this moment, there were tiny signs that neither of you fully understood. Small coincidences. Familiar feelings arriving without explanation. Certain memories returning at unexpected times. It may have seemed ordinary then, but ordinary moments often become meaningful only when viewed from a different place. Your soulmate has begun looking backward, not with regret, but with clarity. They are noticing details they overlooked before. They are understanding conversations they once dismissed. They are recognizing how certain moments continue to echo long after they ended. What once looked like chance now feels connected. What once felt confusing now carries a different meaning. And as these realizations quietly gather together, something inside them is changing in ways they never expected. Perhaps you've sensed this shift without knowing why. Maybe there have been moments when your heart felt unusually calm for no obvious reason. Maybe someone's name crossed your mind unexpectedly. Maybe you found yourself wondering about a future you had not thought about for quite some time. These moments are not asking you to rush toward conclusions. They are invitations to notice that life often prepares us gently before anything visible begins. The heart sometimes recognizes movement long before the eyes can confirm it. That is why today's message is not about dramatic events. It is about quiet transformation, the kind that becomes impossible to ignore only after it has already begun. What makes this decision different is not its speed but its sincerity. Your soulmate is no longer measuring their future by old fears or temporary emotions. They are beginning to ask a new question. Instead of wondering what they might lose, they are wondering what they might finally gain by choosing differently. That single shift changes everything. When perspective changes, possibilities expand. Roads that once seemed closed suddenly become visible. Conversations that once felt impossible begin to feel necessary. Dreams that were placed on distant shelves quietly return, asking for another look. Don't skip this part, because many people spend years waiting for certainty when all along certainty was quietly growing inside them without making a sound. There is something remarkable about genuine decisions. Before anyone speaks them aloud, they first reshape the person making them. Your soulmate is experiencing that invisible transformation now. They may still appear the same to everyone around them, but within, new understanding is replacing old uncertainty. They are becoming more honest with themselves. more willing to acknowledge what truly brings peace, more courageous about imagining a different tomorrow than the one they once expected. This inner change matters because every lasting step begins long before anyone else notices it. The strongest foundations are always built where no one is looking. And while this journey belongs to them, it is quietly touching your story as well. Lives become connected not only through conversations but through growth. Every meaningful relationship is changed when even one heart becomes more truthful than it was before. That is why the title of this message is not simply about a decision. It is about the ripple that decision creates. One choice can alter countless moments that have not even happened yet. One moment of honesty can gently redirect an entire future without anyone realizing it immediately. There is another detail that deserves your attention. Your soulmate has not been searching for perfection. They have slowly discovered that peace is more valuable than perfection. This realization came after many quiet reflections, after recognizing that waiting forever often costs more than moving forward with sincerity. They have learned that meaningful connections are not built on flawless timing but on genuine willingness. That lesson has become impossible for them to ignore. And because of it, the decision resting in their heart today feels different from every thought that came before. Still, the most surprising part has not been revealed yet. The choice they are preparing to embrace carries something they themselves did not expect to uncover. Hidden within that decision is a realization so personal, so quietly profound, that once it fully reaches the surface, neither of your stories will look exactly the same again. That moment is closer than it appears, and it begins with one unexpected truth waiting just beyond the next part. There is something quietly remarkable happening while no one is watching. Not in a crowded room, not through dramatic conversations, but in the private space where a person finally becomes honest with their own heart. That is where your soulmate is now. The questions that once circled endlessly without answers have begun settling into something much calmer. Instead of asking, "What if this never works?" they have slowly started asking, "What if I've been looking at everything through the wrong window?" That single shift changes more than they realize. Stay a little longer, because this next part uncovers why that change matters far more than anyone expected. For a long time, your soulmate believed that waiting would somehow make every answer clearer. They thought enough time would erase uncertainty, quiet every emotion, and make the next step obvious. But time has taught them something completely different. It has shown them that some feelings do not disappear because they were never meant to. They simply become quieter, deeper, and more honest. They stop demanding attention and instead begin offering understanding. That is exactly what has been happening beneath the surface. Without fully realizing it, they have started comparing who they were then with who they are now. The difference surprised them. They noticed that many of the fears they once carried no longer hold the same weight. Opinions that once controlled their decisions seem strangely distant now. Expectations that felt impossible to escape have gradually lost their influence. As those old layers fall away, something beautifully simple remains. A desire for what feels real. A longing for peace instead of confusion. A hope that no longer needs constant reassurance because it has quietly matured. You may wonder why this matters to your own journey. It matters because meaningful decisions are rarely isolated. Every genuine choice creates space for another. When one heart becomes more truthful, it naturally invites another heart to breathe a little easier. Even if you have not spoken recently, even if life has carried both of you through different seasons, invisible growth still leaves visible results. The person they are becoming today is not the same person who once stood frozen between hesitation and hope. Something important is waiting for you in this realization. Your soulmate has begun noticing small reminders that bring your presence back into their thoughts in the gentlest ways. It isn't always through grand moments. Sometimes it happens while hearing a familiar phrase. Sometimes while passing a place that suddenly feels connected to a forgotten memory. Sometimes during an ordinary evening when silence becomes unexpectedly meaningful. These moments do not overwhelm them. Instead, they invite reflection. They encourage gratitude. They quietly ask them to reconsider what truly deserves another chance. The beautiful part is that these reminders no longer bring confusion. They bring clarity. Instead of wondering why they keep remembering, they have started wondering why they ever tried to ignore those memories in the first place. That realization has become impossible to dismiss. Every reflection has gently added another piece to a picture they could never fully see before. And now that picture is beginning to look complete. Don't skip this moment, because there is another layer hidden beneath everything you've heard so far. The decision your soulmate is making is not based on excitement alone. Excitement comes and goes. This decision is growing from something much steadier. It comes from understanding. From emotional maturity. From recognizing that the future they truly want cannot be built by repeating yesterday's habits. It requires a different kind of courage, the quiet courage to become someone who chooses with wisdom instead of impulse. Imagine standing at the edge of a familiar road while suddenly noticing another path you somehow overlooked for years. The old road feels comfortable because you've walked it before. The new one feels peaceful because it finally makes sense. Your soulmate is beginning to understand that comfort and peace are not always the same thing. That discovery has become one of the most meaningful lessons of their life. They are no longer choosing what simply feels familiar. They are preparing to choose what feels deeply aligned with the person they have become. As this inner transformation continues, another unexpected realization is unfolding. They have started appreciating qualities they once underestimated. Patience. Kindness. Consistency. Quiet strength. These are no longer ordinary words to them. They have become the foundation of every future they now imagine. And somewhere within those reflections, your place in their story has begun shining with a different light than before. There are still pieces they have not fully spoken aloud. Some thoughts remain unfinished, not because they are uncertain, but because they want those thoughts to become complete before they are shared. They have learned that meaningful words carry more power when they grow from genuine understanding instead of temporary emotion. That is why silence has become part of their preparation instead of a sign of distance. Yet here is the part few people see. Every quiet day has been leading toward a single realization that is almost ready to surface. It is the realization that one sincere decision can change not only tomorrow, but the way yesterday is remembered. Once that truth fully settles into their heart, everything they believed was impossible will begin to look surprisingly different. And what happens next will reveal why this decision has been unfolding so patiently all along. A quiet realization has finally reached the point where it can no longer remain hidden. It did not arrive with noise or urgency. It appeared gently, almost unnoticed, like the first light before sunrise. Your soulmate has come to understand that some of the most meaningful moments in life are not created by perfect timing, they are created when the heart finally stops running from its own truth. That understanding has changed the way they see everything, including the connection they carry within them. Stay till the end, because the next piece of this story reveals why this moment feels unlike anything they have experienced before. There was a time when they believed every answer had to be immediate. If clarity did not arrive quickly, they assumed it was never coming. But life has patiently taught them a different lesson. Some answers need distance. Some need quiet seasons. Others require a person to become someone new before the truth can even be recognized. Looking back now, they realize they were not simply waiting for circumstances to change. They were slowly becoming the person capable of seeing what had been there all along. That realization brought unexpected peace. Instead of feeling rushed, they began feeling grateful for every lesson that shaped them. Even the confusing chapters started making sense. Every disappointment had quietly strengthened their patience. Every unanswered question had gently deepened their understanding. Every unexpected delay had prepared them for a decision that could only be made with a calmer heart. Something important is waiting for you within this thought. Your soulmate has stopped imagining the future as a distant dream. For the first time in a long while, they have started seeing it as something they can actively build. That shift may sound simple, but it changes everything. Dreams remain distant when they are only imagined. They begin moving closer when someone finally believes they are worth choosing. There have been quiet evenings when they found themselves smiling without fully understanding why. A memory appeared. A familiar feeling returned. A small reminder interrupted an ordinary day. Instead of brushing those moments aside, they allowed themselves to sit with them. They discovered that the heart often speaks most clearly when the mind finally becomes still. Those gentle reminders were not distractions. They became invitations to look deeper. Don't skip this next moment. It may seem small at first, but it carries remarkable meaning. Your soulmate has begun releasing something they held onto for far too long, the belief that every meaningful connection has to fit someone else's expectations. They are learning that authenticity matters more than appearances. Peace matters more than approval. Genuine happiness matters more than trying to meet every expectation placed before them. That freedom has opened a door inside them that was once tightly closed. As that door opens, another beautiful change follows. They no longer feel the need to force every answer. They trust that what belongs in their journey will arrive with the right pace. Ironically, that quiet confidence is what has made their decision stronger than ever before. They are no longer choosing from uncertainty. They are choosing from understanding. Think about a river that has spent years finding its way through countless twists and turns. It never rushed the journey, yet it always reached the place it was meant to reach. In many ways, that is exactly how this story has unfolded. Every unexpected turn has carried hidden purpose. Every pause has prepared both hearts for a chapter that neither could have written alone. The remarkable part is that your soulmate has also begun noticing how differently they respond to life now. Situations that once filled them with doubt now invite calm reflection. Conversations that once felt overwhelming now inspire honesty. They are no longer reacting to every passing emotion. They are responding from a place of quiet confidence. That inner stability has become the foundation beneath the decision they are making. And still, one final piece remains hidden. Deep inside, they have recognized something that surprised even them. The future they keep imagining always seems to return to the same feeling, a future built not on perfect circumstances, but on shared growth, mutual understanding, and the courage to choose what truly matters. That realization has become impossible to ignore. The decision is no longer just an idea resting in their heart. It is becoming direction. It is becoming intention. It is becoming the beginning of a completely different chapter. Yet before that chapter can fully unfold, one gentle conversation, whether spoken aloud or first held silently within the heart, must take place. And what emerges from that moment will reveal why this decision has the power to reshape both of your lives in ways neither of you could have imagined when this journey first began. No one could have predicted that the turning point would arrive in such a gentle way. There was no dramatic announcement, no extraordinary sign demanding attention. It began with a quiet moment of honesty. Your soulmates simply stopped trying to outrun what had been patiently waiting inside them. In that stillness, they realized something that had been hidden beneath every busy day and every unanswered question. The future they truly wanted had been quietly calling to them for much longer than they ever admitted. Stay with this moment, because what follows explains why that realization feels so deeply personal. For the first time, they allowed themselves to imagine life without the walls they had carefully built. Those walls once felt necessary. They believed they were protecting themselves from uncertainty, disappointment, and unanswered questions. But as they looked closer, they discovered those same walls had also been keeping out hope, trust, and the possibility of something beautifully genuine. Slowly, one thought after another began replacing the old ones. What if the strongest choice is not protecting the heart from every possibility? What if the strongest choice is allowing the heart to grow without fear of every unknown? That question stayed with them. It followed them through ordinary mornings and peaceful evenings. It appeared during quiet walks, simple conversations, and unexpected pauses in the middle of busy days. They could no longer dismiss it because every time it returned, it brought a little more clarity than before. Instead of creating confusion, it brought peace. Instead of asking for immediate answers, it invited deeper understanding. Something important is waiting for you here. Your soulmate has begun recognizing that meaningful connections are never measured only by time. They are measured by how deeply they continue to shape a person's heart, even during seasons of silence. Some people leave memories. Others leave lessons. But a truly meaningful connection leaves growth. That is exactly what they have discovered. They are no longer looking back with uncertainty. They are looking back with gratitude because every experience has quietly prepared them to recognize what truly matters now. There was a moment recently when they caught themselves smiling at a thought they never expected to revisit. It wasn't because everything suddenly became perfect. It was because they realized how much they had changed. The version of themselves that once hesitated at every crossroad has slowly disappeared. In its place stands someone who values honesty more than comfort, peace more than appearances, and lasting meaning more than temporary certainty. That transformation has become the quiet strength behind every decision they are now making. Don't skip this next part, because the story is becoming even more meaningful. Your soulmate has also realized that waiting for the perfect moment often causes people to miss the beautiful moments already standing in front of them. They no longer want to measure life by someday. They want to build it through today's small but meaningful choices. One sincere conversation. One honest step. One quiet act of courage. These simple moments, when repeated with intention, become the foundation of an entirely different future. Imagine planting a tree. On the first day, nothing seems different. Weeks later, change is still difficult to notice. But beneath the surface, roots are spreading, becoming stronger with every passing day. One morning, without realizing exactly when it happened, you look again and discover that something beautiful has grown where once there was only empty ground. This decision is unfolding in the same way. The visible moment is coming, but the invisible preparation has already been happening for far longer than anyone realized. Your soulmate has started believing that genuine happiness does not arrive by accident. It grows wherever honesty, patience, and hope are given room to breathe together. That belief has quietly changed the direction of their thoughts. Instead of wondering whether life might surprise them, they have begun preparing themselves to welcome those surprises with an open heart. That quiet readiness is far more powerful than they know. As each day passes, another beautiful realization continues to settle within them. They are no longer trying to become someone different in order to deserve a meaningful future. They are simply becoming more fully themselves. And in doing so, they are discovering that authenticity creates a peace no performance could ever offer. It is this quiet confidence that has given their decision such remarkable strength. Yet there is one final piece they have only recently begun to understand. Every meaningful chapter begins before anyone else realizes a new chapter has started. Long before words are spoken, long before plans become visible, the heart quietly chooses its direction. Your soulmate has reached that place. Their heart already knows where it wants to go. Their thoughts are beginning to follow. And soon, their actions will naturally reflect the choice that has been growing inside them all along. The next part reveals the unexpected moment that confirms this transformation is no longer only happening within them. A gentle confirmation is approaching, one that neither of you could have planned, yet one that fits this journey so perfectly that, when it arrives, you'll understand why every quiet step had to unfold exactly as it did. What happens next is not the kind of moment that announces itself from a distance. It arrives softly, almost unnoticed, like a familiar melody returning after years of silence. Yet the instant it appears, everything begins to feel different. Your soulmate has reached a place where their heart no longer argues with what it already knows. The long conversation between doubt and hope has slowly come to an end, and for the first time in a very long while, peace is becoming louder than uncertainty. Stay with this message, because the next few moments reveal why this quiet change carries such lasting meaning. There was a season when they believed that moving forward meant leaving certain feelings behind forever. They tried to convince themselves that some chapters were meant to stay closed. But life has a remarkable way of gently reopening the pages that still have something beautiful left to say. Instead of bringing old confusion back into their heart, those memories returned carrying wisdom. They no longer looked at the past with questions. They looked at it with understanding. Every conversation, every unexpected pause, every lesson became part of a larger picture that they are only now beginning to see clearly. As this picture becomes more complete, something unexpected has happened. They have stopped searching for signs outside themselves because they have finally begun listening to the quiet truth within. That inner voice does not rush. It does not compete with the noise of the world. It simply remains steady, reminding them again and again that the future they long for deserves to be chosen with sincerity. It is this calm confidence that has given strength to the decision resting in their heart. Something important is waiting for you here. While your soulmate has been changing on the inside, they have also begun noticing how differently they see you. Not through old assumptions. Not through unfinished stories. They are seeing you through the lens of growth. They recognize qualities they once overlooked. They appreciate moments they once considered ordinary. Even the smallest memories now seem brighter because they understand them differently. What once appeared simple now feels meaningful. What once felt incomplete now carries quiet purpose. There have been moments when they almost smiled at themselves, wondering why it took so long to understand something that now feels so clear. The answer is surprisingly gentle. Some truths can only be recognized after the heart has grown enough to hold them. If those same truths had arrived earlier, they might have been misunderstood. But now, everything they have experienced has prepared them to receive this realization with gratitude instead of hesitation. Don't skip this part, because one beautiful detail has remained hidden until now. The decision your soulmate has made is not centered on changing another person. It is centered on becoming the kind of person who can nurture something lasting. That difference changes everything. Instead of asking, "How can I make life unfold the way I imagined?" they have started asking, "How can I become someone who builds peace wherever I go?" That quiet shift has transformed the way they think about every tomorrow. Imagine watching the sunrise after a long night. The light does not appear all at once. It slowly touches the horizon, then the trees, then every path waiting below. That is exactly how this decision is unfolding. First, it brought clarity to their own heart. Then it began changing the way they see the people around them. Soon, it will naturally influence the choices they make, one thoughtful step at a time. Real transformation has never depended on speed. It depends on consistency, and that is exactly what has been growing within them. Another realization has quietly taken root. They no longer believe meaningful relationships are built through extraordinary moments alone. They now understand that lasting connections are strengthened through ordinary days filled with honesty, patience, kindness, and mutual understanding. This discovery has filled them with an unexpected sense of calm. Instead of chasing perfection, they are preparing to build something genuine. Instead of fearing what tomorrow might bring, they are learning to welcome it with hope. Perhaps the most beautiful part of this journey is that they are no longer trying to predict every outcome. They have discovered that trust grows strongest when it is accompanied by quiet courage. Every day they choose authenticity over fear, that courage becomes a little stronger. Every day they choose understanding over assumption, their heart becomes a little lighter. And with every passing moment, the decision they have made feels less like a possibility and more like the beginning of a new direction. Yet one final surprise still remains. The choice your soulmate has embraced has already begun creating gentle changes beyond what they can currently see. Small moments are quietly aligning. Unexpected opportunities are drawing closer. Simple conversations are preparing to carry greater meaning than anyone realizes today. None of these moments will arrive with noise, but together they will form the confirmation they have been waiting for. The next part reveals that quiet confirmation, a moment so natural that many would overlook it, yet so meaningful that your soulmate will instantly recognize it as the beginning of the chapter they have been preparing their heart to enter all along.